So, you've done well for yourself, really well, and you've decided it's time to give back in a big way by starting your own private foundation. I mean, that's a truly noble goal. You're ready to build a legacy.
Oh, yeah, you can already picture it, right? The fancy fundraising galas, the clinking champagne glasses, you can see the press releases, and most importantly, you can feel that genuine good you're about to put out into the world.
And of course, there's the big one, the crown jewel, a tangible sign of your impact, something real, something lasting, with your name right there on the front. And then, bam, reality check. A thick envelope from the Canada Revenue Agency lands on your desk, and your grand vision just smacks right into a bureaucratic brick wall. What on earth just happened? Let's figure it out. Okay, first things first. If you're holding one of those rejection letters, take a deep breath. You are so not alone. Getting rejected is surprisingly common, but man, it feels personal, doesn't it? Just know it's not a reflection of your generosity. It's a sign that this whole process is an absolute beast. This timeline really tells the whole story, doesn't it? Even a so-called simple application is a 2-month wait. Most are 6 months, maybe more. But if you get rejected, you've officially landed in what I like to call the "what on earth were they thinking" category. This means it wasn't a simple typo. It means the CRA looked at your plan and saw a fundamental misunderstanding of what a foundation is even for. All right, let's dive into the juicy stuff. We're going to take a tour of the biggest, most common mistakes. Think of these as cautionary tales from the front lines of philanthropy, the top reasons the CRA says no, so you can make sure they say yes to you. Mistake number 1, and this one is the big kahuna, the number one reason applications get tossed. Thinking the foundation is just an extension of your personal checking account. This quote says everything you need to know. Once you put money or property into that foundation, it's not yours anymore. Not for a weekend, not for a quick loan. It's gone forever. And believe me, the CRA has seen everything. People trying to use their foundation's money to snag that perfect Muskoka cottage or to help their kid with a down payment. Some even try to use it as a rainy day fund. Let's be perfectly clear. That money belongs to the public good now. The CRA really does not care about your can't-miss investment opportunity. Next up is what I call fluffy purpose syndrome. We want to make the world a better place. Sounds nice, right? Well, to the CRA, it's a massive red flag. Just look at this comparison. Doing good things is going to get you a fast rejection. But providing scholarships to low-income students in STEM fields, now that's a plan. You have to be specific. Now, let's wade into some deeper water. Here's a mistake that often starts as a brilliant idea: donating shares from your successful private company. It's an incredibly generous thought, but whoa, hold on. This is where you step into a serious regulatory minefield called the excess corporate holdings regime. It's basically a set of rules to stop people from parking their business assets in a charity to avoid taxes. And if you don't believe me, just look at the penalties. This isn't a slap on the wrist. We're talking a 5% penalty on the entire value of those shares for the first offense, and it goes up from there. The advice from the pros is unanimous. Unless you have a rock-solid, immediate plan to sell those shares, just don't do it. Donate cash instead. Mistake number 4, running the foundation like a family kitchen table meeting instead of a professional board meeting. Look, it's awesome to get your family involved, but the CRA needs to see actual governance. They want to see bylaws, conflict of interest policies, and recorded minutes, not a script for family drama where a fight over Thanksgiving dinner could derail the entire charitable mission. Okay, let's talk cold, hard cash. What's the price of admission to this club? While there's no official rule, pretty much every expert will tell you the same thing. You really shouldn't even think about it unless you're starting with at least $1 million. $1 million? Why so much? Well, it all boils down to this little thing called the disbursement quota. You are legally required to give away 3.5% of your assets every single year. So let's do the math. On $1 million, that's 35 grand. But then you subtract fees for administration and investment management, and you're left with just $22,500 to actually grant to charities. Any less than $1 million, and that number just gets tiny. The CRA is also super strict about where the money goes. And spoiler alert, this is not the place to get creative. You can't give money to your buddy's genius startup idea. You can't just hand cash to a family in need, as much as you might want to. And you absolutely cannot fund political parties or run a side business. The money has to go to other registered Canadian charities. Full stop. Phew, okay, that was a whole lot of no and don't do that. So you're probably wondering, how do you actually do this right? How do you avoid becoming one of these cautionary tales? Let's flip the script. How do we get to yes? The secret isn't about being clever or finding loopholes, I'll tell you that. It's about being prepared, being professional, and building a rock-solid application from day one. So here it is, your 5-step path to approval. And notice what's number 1. Before you write a single word, do some real soul-searching about why you're doing this. Then, and this is non-negotiable, hire pros, a lawyer and an accountant to live and breathe charity law. After that, be boringly specific with your mission, get your governance house in order, and make sure you truly get the money math we just talked about. And look, I get it. This is a lot of dense paperwork and scary rules. But through it all, you have to hang on to why you started this journey in the first place. This quote here says it all. This is about more than money. It's about meaning. It's about making a difference. That's the fuel that will get you through all the red tape. And that really brings us to the big takeaway here. Because getting that approval letter, that's not the end of the journey. It's the beginning. Starting a foundation isn't just a financial transaction. It's a real commitment. It's a real job. So, if you're one of the people holding that rejection letter right now, listen up. Here is your game plan starting today. Read that letter. Read every single word. The CRA is telling you exactly what they didn't like. Then take that letter to an expert. Address every single point they raised, and revise your application with a fine-tooth comb. And this is probably the most important mindset shift you can make. The CRA is not the enemy here. They're not trying to stop you from being generous. Think of them as the guardians at the gate. Their job is to protect the integrity of the entire charitable sector and make sure the generous tax benefits that come with a foundation are actually used for public good, not private gain. So at the end of the day, it all comes down to this one question you have to ask yourself. What is your true legacy going to be? A nice tax receipt or a real lasting impact? The answer to that question will guide everything you do from here on out.